The crystalline spires of Haven Station sparkled against the backdrop of the Violet Nebula, its delicate architecture belying the advanced technology within. Senior observer Lyra adjusted her sensory membranes, the translucent tendrils that served as both eyes and data interfaces for her species, the Lumini. The massive observation array before her monitored thousands of solar systems simultaneously, watching for signs of life and potential civilizations to welcome into the galactic community. Something was wrong. The array's sensors pulsed with unusual readings from the Helios sector. Lyra's membranes trembled as she processed the data. Massive energy signatures, unlike anything in their databases. The kind of readings that indicated either a natural disaster or something far worse. "Elder Thex," she called out, her voice carrying the harmonic overtones of concern. "You need to see this." The Elder Lumini glided across the chamber, his crystalline form catching and refracting the ambient light, where Lyra's form was still developing. Showing the translucency of youth, Thex's body had the density of centuries, layers of experience visible in the intricate patterns within. "Show me," he commanded softly. The holographic display expanded, showing a three-dimensional map of the Helios sector. Red indicators pulsed at multiple points, spreading like a virus across the stars. Elder Thex's form darkened, the Lumini equivalent of a frown. "The Void Hunters," he whispered. "They finally reached this sector." Lyra had heard stories of the Void Hunters, but like most younger Lumini, she had dismissed them as cautionary tales. They were supposed to be myths, warnings about the dangers of unchecked technological advancement. But the readings before her told a different story. "Impossible," she breathed. "The stories say they harvest entire worlds." "Not stories," Thex corrected. "History. They seek rare elements found only in life-bearing worlds. Their technology allows them to extract these elements efficiently, but the process—" He paused, his form clouding with remembered horror. "The process destroys all life on the target planets." The display updated, showing new data. The red indicators were moving with purpose, following a pattern that made Lyra's membranes curl in dismay. They're methodically sweeping through the sector, based on their current trajectory. "They'll reach the seed worlds in 17 cycles," Thex finished. The seed worlds, dozens of planets where the Lumini had carefully nurtured developing civilizations, watching over them as they took their first steps toward the stars. Millions of lives, countless potential futures, all in the path of the approaching storm. "We have to warn them. Evacuate them." Lyra's voice carried the sharp harmonics of panic. "There isn't time," Thex responded, his tone heavy with resignation. "Our ships aren't built for mass evacuation. We're observers, catalogers, nurturers. We've never needed to be anything else." He paused, his form rippling with decision. "But perhaps we don't have to be." Thex moved to the central communication array, his tendrils interfacing with the controls. "There are others in the galaxy, species we've observed but never contacted, thinking them too volatile, too unpredictable for the delicate balance of our network." The display shifted, showing a blue-green world wrapped in swirling white clouds. A world that, by all normal metrics, should not have produced intelligent life. Its gravity was crushing, its weather systems violent, its surface racked by constant geological upheaval. Yet it had not only produced life, but a spacefaring civilization. "Earth," Thex announced, "home of the species known as humans. We've watched them for centuries, fascinated and frightened by their resilience. They evolved on a world that would kill most sentient species within minutes." Lyra studied the data scrolling past. "Their gravity is more than twice galactic standard. Their atmospheric pressure makes them natural pressure suit warriors," Thex finished. "Their world's harsh conditions have given them advantages we're only beginning to understand. They build ships that can withstand forces that would tear our vessels apart. Their bodies can endure acceleration that would reduce most species to paste. But they're untested," Lyra protested. "They've barely begun to explore beyond their solar system. And their history, all that conflict. Precisely. Thex's form brightened. They've spent their entire existence fighting. Their world, their environment, each other. They've learned to adapt, to overcome, to protect what they value. He interfaced with the communication array again. And now, they might be our only hope. The array hummed to life, broadcasting on frequencies the Lumini had never used before. Vex's voice carried across the stars, reaching for a world of giants. To the species known as humans, this is Elder Thex of the Lumini. We have watched your progress from afar, seen your struggles and triumphs. Now we face a threat beyond our ability to counter. The Void Hunters approach, bringing death to countless worlds under our protection. We have no weapons, no defenses. But you who have conquered a world that would crush us, who have built ships that laugh at stellar winds, who have faced every challenge with indomitable will. You might be our last hope. The message continued, carrying detailed data about the Void Hunters, their projected course, and the worlds at risk. As it spread across space at faster-than-light speeds, Lyra watched the display, her membranes quivering. "Will they come?" she asked softly. "Will they help protect worlds they've never seen, people they've never met?" Thex's form pulsed with what might have been hope. "They call their world a cradle of life. Let us pray they remember that all life deserves protection." The message raced outward, carrying the hopes of countless worlds. On Earth, in a deep space monitoring station buried beneath the Rocky Mountains, a sensor operator named Sarah Chen was about to receive the most important transmission in human history. The age of observation was ending. The time for action had come. And somewhere in the darkness between the stars, the Void Hunters continued their inexorable advance, unaware that they were about to encounter something they had never faced before. A species born in gravity's grip, forged in nature's fury, and driven by an unshakable determination to protect those who could not protect themselves. The Deathworlders were about to answer the call. Sarah Chen's coffee cup hit the floor of the deep space monitoring station, the liquid spreading across the reinforced concrete as she stared at her display. The message played again, its alien harmonics carrying an unmistakable tone of desperation. "Central Command, this is DSMS-7. She keyed her comm with steady fingers, belying the adrenaline rushing through her system. Priority 1 first contact scenario. Authenticating now. Within minutes, the message was racing through military channels. In the Pentagon's newly established Extraterrestrial Response Center, Admiral James Rivera watched the holographic projection of Elder Thex's plea, his weathered face illuminated by the alien's crystalline glow. Thoughts? He asked the room of Earth's top military and scientific minds. Dr. Maya Patel, head of xenobiology, stepped forward. The Lumini are real. We've detected their observation platforms before, though they always disappeared when we got close. Technologically advanced, but physically fragile. She gestured to the data scrolling beside the hologram. Their homeworld has 1/3 Earth's gravity. Their bodies would collapse under our normal conditions. And these Void Hunters, Rivera's voice carried the weight of command. Colonel Wai Zong, tactical analysis, brought up new projections. Based on the data provided, they're methodical, efficient. They've never faced serious resistance because most species in their path are like the Lumini, evolved in low-gravity environments, focused on science and exploration rather than combat. But we're not most species, Rivera mused. No, sir. Zhang's smile held fierce pride. We're Deathworlders. The term had emerged in scientific circles years ago, when humanity first began detecting signs of alien life. Most habitable worlds they found were gentle places, low gravity, stable weather, minimal tectonic activity. Earth, by comparison, was a nightmare world that should never have produced intelligent life. But it had, and that fact had shaped everything about humanity. "Show me our response capabilities," Rivera ordered. The hologram shifted, displaying the pride of Earth's United Space Fleet. Heavy cruisers built to withstand crushing pressures, their hulls tested in the atmospheres of gas giants. Fighters designed to maintain structural integrity under forces that would tear most alien ships apart. And the crews. Humans trained in environments that would kill most species instantly. First Fleet can deploy in 6 hours, Captain Sarah Rodriguez reported. Full combat strength, 36 ships, including the new Himalaya-class battleships. They'd been running high-key drills in Jupiter's gravity well for the past month. The Void Hunters have numbers, Zhang added, but their ships are built for efficiency, not combat. They've never needed to withstand the kind of forces our vessels deal with routinely. Rivera nodded slowly, decades of experience weighing each factor. Get me the Security Council. And someone find me a xenolinguist who can make sure our response doesn't get lost in translation. Within an hour, humanity's leaders had convened. The debate was brief, not about whether to help, but how. Earth had spent centuries dreaming of first contact, preparing for both peace and war. Now, faced with a call for help from a species that had watched them from afar, there was only one possible answer. In the massive construction docks orbiting Mars, crews scrambled to load the latest graviton missiles, weapons designed to create localized high-gravity fields that would crush most ships but leave Earth vessels unaffected. Marines in powered armor ran final checks on suits built to function in environments that would reduce most alien armor to scrap. Commander Elena Rossi stood in the hangar of the EFSS Everest, watching her pilots prep their fighters. Each craft was a testament to human engineering, compact, heavily armored, and capable of maneuvers that would kill any pilot not born and trained in Earth's gravity. Listen up, her voice carried across the bay. We've spent years wondering if we were alone in the universe. Now we know we're not. And our first official act as a spacefaring species is going to be saving lives. The Lumini might have watched us from a distance, but they've seen something in us worth betting on. Let's prove them right. Across the fleet, similar scenes played out. Crews who had trained for first contact scenarios, never quite like this one prepared for battle. Scientists pored over the Lumini data, looking for tactical advantages. And in every ship, every station, every command center, there was a palpable sense of purpose. On the bridge of the Everest, Admiral Rivera received the final launch authorization. The message to the Lumini was brief, characteristically human. This is Admiral James Rivera of the Earth Defense Fleet to Elder Thex. Message received. Help is coming. Hold the line. The fleet launched as one. 36 ships of human design, crewed by people who had evolved on a world that most species would consider hell. They carried with them humanity's hopes, dreams, and its unshakable determination to protect those who needed protection. In the observation chamber of Haven Station, Elder Thex and Lyra watched the sensor readings with astonishment as the human fleet accelerated at speeds that should have killed their crews instantly. How are they surviving those forces? Lyra whispered. They call themselves Deathworlders, Thex replied, his form bright with hope. Perhaps now we understand why. As the Earth fleet entered faster than light travel, they carried with them a truth that would soon reshape the galaxy. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't the technology they'd built or the weapons they'd created. It was the fact that every human aboard those ships had been born on a world that had tried to kill them every day of their existence, and they had not only survived but thrived. The Void Hunters were about to learn what it meant to face warriors forged in gravity's crucible. The Deathworlders were coming to war. The human fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in a cascade of distorted space, their hulls still glowing from the transition. On the bridge of the ESS Everest, Admiral Rivera watched the tactical display as it populated with sensor data from the Helios sector. Multiple contacts, Lieutenant Park announced from the sensor station. Void Hunter vessels detected at the edge of the Centauri 447 system. There, they're stripping a garden world. The main screen activated, showing a green-blue planet wrapped in storms. Massive ships hovered in its atmosphere, dark energy beams lancing into the surface. Where they touched, the planet's crust cracked and buckled, precious elements being forcefully extracted, with no regard for the devastation caused. Life signs on the surface? Rivera asked, his voice tight. Declining rapidly, sir. The extraction process is killing everything, from the largest organisms down to bacterial life. Rivera's jaw clenched. They'd arrived in time to witness exactly what they were fighting against. Battle stations. All ships form up on tactical pattern Delta. Let's show them what happens when you hunt in human space. The fleet moved with practiced precision, their formation taking advantage of the local star's gravitational field, a maneuver that would have torn apart ships built for gentler environments. The Void Hunters, detecting the approaching fleet, began to react. Commander Elena Rossi sat in her fighter, watching the tactical feed as the enemy ships moved to intercept. Their movements were efficient, mechanical, the actions of predators who had never needed to worry about their prey fighting back. Wasp Squadron, this is lead, she broadcast to her pilots. Remember your training. These bastards have never dealt with ships that can handle real G-forces. Use that. The first shots were fired from extreme range, the Void Hunters launching salvos of energy weapons that would have annihilated most ships. But human vessels, built to withstand the crushing pressures of gas giants, absorbed the impacts. Their weapons are calibrated for standard hulls, Chief Engineer Singh reported from the Everest's engine room. They don't have the power to penetrate our armor. Rivera allowed himself a grim smile. Launch fighters. Show them what Earth gravity training can do. Fighters streamed from the human capital ships, performing maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. The Void Hunter vessels, designed for efficiency rather than combat, couldn't match their agility. Their crews, evolved in gentler conditions, couldn't handle the G-forces that human pilots shrugged off. Elena's fighter rolled through a turn that would have killed most alien pilots, her targeting system locking onto a Void Hunter ship attempting to retreat from the planet's atmosphere. That's right, she muttered. Run into the gravity well. See how that works out for you. The Void Hunter ship, trying to escape, plunged deeper into the planet's gravitational field. Its structural integrity began to fail under forces it was never designed to withstand. Elena's squadron struck precisely, their weapons targeting already stressed hull sections. The massive ship broke apart, its pieces burning up in the atmosphere. On the Everest's bridge, Rivera watched the battle unfold. The Void Hunters were trying to regroup, to bring their superior numbers to bear. But they couldn't match the human fleet's ability to operate in extreme conditions. Sir, Lieutenant Park called out. They're attempting to communicate. A harsh, mechanical voice filled the bridge. Unknown vessels, this is Harvester Command. You interfere with necessary resource extraction. Withdraw or be destroyed. Rivera's response was calm but carried steel in every word. This is Admiral James Rivera of the Earth Defense Fleet. We are here at the request of the Lumini. Your harvesting operations end now. Withdraw from this sector, or we will demonstrate exactly why humans are called Deathworlders. The response came in the form of a massive energy surge as the Void Hunter fleet charged their main weapons, but they had never faced an enemy that could turn their own environment against them. All ships, execute gravity sling maneuver, Rivera ordered. Let's show them what we learned from Earth's storms. The human fleet moved as one, using the planet's gravity well to accelerate to speeds that would have torn apart ships built to lighter standards. They rolled through the planet's upper atmosphere, their hulls designed to withstand forces far greater than this. The Void Hunters' weapons fired, but the human ships were no longer where they had aimed. Like storm riders on Earth, the fleet used the planet's natural forces to their advantage, turning the very environment into a weapon. Multiple enemy ships showing structural stress, Park reported. They can't handle the gravitational forces. Sir, press the advantage, Rivera commanded. All ships, activate graviton missiles. Let's give them a taste of Earth normal conditions. The missiles launched, creating localized fields of crushing gravity around the Void Hunter vessels. Ships began to crumple, their crews incapacitated by forces that human warriors trained under routinely. Elena's fighter squadron cut through the chaos, targeting enemy ships trying to escape the gravity wells. This is for every world you've stripped. She broadcast on all frequencies as her missiles found their marks. The battle continued, but it was already clear who would emerge victorious. The Void Hunters, for all their technological advancement, had never needed to adapt to harsh conditions. They had never faced warriors born in gravity's grip, trained in nature's fury. They were about to learn why humanity's harsh cradle had made them the most formidable species in known space. The Void Hunters' massive command ship, the Worldbreaker, emerged from its dimensional fold at the edge of the battle. Its arrival cast a shadow across space, a vessel larger than anything humanity had ever encountered, its hull adorned with the stripped resources of 1,000 dead worlds. New contact. Lieutenant Park's voice carried across the Everest's bridge. "Sir, it's bigger than anything in our simulation models." Admiral Rivera studied the tactical display, his expression unchanged. The Worldbreaker's size would have intimidated most species, but humans had evolved facing threats that dwarfed them, learning that bigger didn't always mean better. "Status of their fleet?" he asked calmly. 30% of their harvester ships destroyed or disabled. The rest are attempting to regroup around the command vessel. A new voice cut through their communications, deep and resonant with artificial harmonics. "I am Archon Commander Vex of the Void Hunters. Your resistance is unprecedented, but futile. You cannot comprehend the forces you face." Rivera's response was measured. "This is Admiral Rivera. We comprehend forces just fine. On our world, we call them Tuesday." The Worldbreaker's response came in the form of energy weapons that could have cracked a small moon. But the human fleet was already moving, their ships dancing through spaces too tight for their size, performing maneuvers that defied conventional physics. "All ships, execute Operation Thunderstorm," Rivera ordered. It was a strategy born from humanity's experience with Earth's most violent weather systems, using overwhelming force to become the eye of the storm. Commander Elena Rossi led her fighter squadron through the chaos, their smaller ships weaving between capital ships like lightning between storm clouds. "Target their gravitational stabilizers," she ordered. "Let's see how they handle a little weight on their shoulders." The human fighters struck with precision, their weapons finding weak points that larger ships couldn't target. The Void Hunters had never needed to protect against attacks from ships that could withstand such crushing forces. Their defenses were built for power, not agility. On the Everest's engineering deck, Chief Singh orchestrated a symphony of controlled chaos, rerouting power to gravitational compensation systems, he reported. "These bastards think they know about pressure. Wait until they feel what we consider normal." The human fleet's formation tightened, creating a gravitational lens effect that they had learned from studying black holes. The Void Hunters' energy weapons bent around their ships, their own massive power being used against them. "Fascinating," Elder Thex observed from Haven Station, watching the battle through their long-range sensors. "They're using fundamental forces of the universe as tactical elements. No species we've encountered has ever attempted such strategies." "Because no other species evolved under such conditions," Lyra replied, her form pulsing with understanding. "They don't just survive under crushing gravity. They've learned to weaponize it." The battle reached its crescendo as the Worldbreaker launched its final weapon, a device designed to increase local space's gravitational constant. Against most species, it would have been instantly fatal. Against humans, it was a mistake. "They're trying to crush us with gravity." Elena's laugh carried across the fighter squadron's comm. "That's adorable. All units, form up. Show them how we dance in the heavy." The human ships accelerated into the artificially heavy space, their crews feeling only a fraction of what would have killed most species. They had trained for this, had evolved for this, had built their ships for exactly these conditions. "Target their main power core," Rivera ordered. "Concentrated fire, all ships. Let's show them what real pressure feels like." The Everest led the charge, its graviton missiles creating a cascade of overlapping gravity fields. The Void Hunters, who had thought to trap the humans in crushing force, found themselves caught in a web of gravitational shear that their ships simply couldn't handle. The Worldbreaker's massive hull began to buckle, its structure never designed to withstand the forces that Earth ships routinely endured. Archon Commander Vex's voice carried disbelief. Impossible. Your ships should be crushed. Your crews should be dead. Should be, Rivera agreed. By your standards. But we're Deathworlders. We were born in gravity's grip, forged in pressure that would kill your kind instantly. We don't just survive these conditions. We thrive in them. The final strike came from all directions at once. Human ships moving through gravitational fields that would have torn apart any other vessels, delivering their payloads with deadly precision. The Worldbreaker's hull split like an eggshell, its power core destabilizing in a cascade of energy. All ships, defensive formation, Rivera ordered. Ride the shockwave like a hurricane wind. The human fleet moved as one, using the massive explosion's energy the way their ancestors had learned to use Earth's storms. Where other ships would have been destroyed, they surfed the wave of destruction, emerging on the other side battle-scared but unbroken. The remaining Void Hunter ships, witnessing their invincible command vessel's destruction, began to retreat. They had never faced defeat before, had never encountered a species that could turn their greatest weapon against them. They had never met Deathworlders before. 1 month after the Battle of Helios Sector, Haven Station hosted an unprecedented gathering. The crystalline halls, normally home only to the ethereal Lumini, now accommodated representatives from dozens of species, including, for the first time, humans. Admiral Rivera stood before the assembled delegates, his Earth-bred frame towering over most of the other species. The station's artificial gravity had been increased to 1/3 of Earth normal to accommodate the humans, a level that still felt weightless to them, but was bearable for the other species. The Void Hunters have retreated beyond the Galactic rim, he reported. Their remaining ships are being tracked by our long-range sensors. They won't threaten inhabited worlds again. Elder Thex's crystalline form pulsed with colors of gratitude. You did more than save our worlds. You showed us something we had never understood before, that what we perceived as harsh conditions could forge not just strength, but wisdom. The aftermath of the battle had brought revelations that transformed galactic society. The humans' ability to operate in extreme conditions made them ideal for tasks other species had thought impossible. Already, joint ventures were being planned. Human ships helping to explore heavy gravity worlds, protecting merchant vessels, and establishing new colonies in previously inaccessible systems. Commander Elena Rossi, now leading the joint training program, watched as alien pilots struggled to adapt to even minimal G-forces. Remember, she instructed, it's not about being the strongest. It's about understanding how to work with the forces around you, not against them. The changes weren't just military. Human medical knowledge evolved to deal with high-gravity injuries and extreme environmental conditions, complemented the Lumini's advanced healing techniques. Dr. Maya Patel worked alongside Lumini healers, combining Earth's resilient biology with their regenerative technologies. Your bodies are extraordinary, a Lumini healer named Cell told her. The very adaptations that let you survive your world make you perfect for developing treatments we never thought possible. But perhaps the most profound change was philosophical. Species that had once viewed humans with fear or dismissal now saw them differently. The term Deathworlder transformed from a warning label to a mark of respect. We watched your kind for centuries. Elder Thex addressed the human delegation. We saw your wars, your struggles, your constant battle against your world's conditions. We feared you might be too aggressive, too hardened by your environment. We were wrong. Your harsh world didn't make you cruel. It taught you the value of protection, the importance of standing against overwhelming odds. In the station's observation deck, Admiral Rivera stood with Lyra, watching ships from a dozen species navigate the space lanes, human vessels flying alongside those they have fought to protect. What happens now? Lyra asked, her form shimmering with curiosity. Rivera smiled, thinking of the changes already spreading through galactic society. Now we build something new. Your knowledge and our strength. Your healing and our resilience. Not just protectors, but teachers. Not just warriors, but guides. The legacy of Earth's gravity would reshape the galaxy, not through conquest or domination, but through cooperation and understanding. Humanity had emerged onto the galactic stage, not as conquerors, but as guardians, their very nature making them uniquely suited to protect and preserve life in all its forms. In the years that followed, the story of the Battle of Helios Sector became legend. But it wasn't just a story of military victory. It was a testament to how the harshest conditions could forge the strongest bonds, how the heaviest burdens could build the greatest strength, and how a species born to struggle could choose to use that strength not for dominance, but for defense. The Deathworlders had found their place among the stars, not as warriors to be feared, but as protectors to be welcomed. And in doing so, they had shown that sometimes the heaviest worlds forge not the hardest hearts, but the strongest spirits. As Haven Station's twin suns set, casting rainbow lights through its crystalline walls, humans and aliens worked together, planning for a future where the strength of one became the shield of many. The age of isolation was over. The age of unity had begun. And somewhere on Earth, new generations looked up at the stars with fresh understanding. They were no longer alone in the universe, and their world's harsh embrace had prepared them not just to survive, but to help others thrive. The Deathworlders had come not to conquer, but to protect, and the galaxy was better for it.